It's time to wake up because you went to sleep at 6 a.m. because you make poor life choices. Coming to the stage, the muscle of this panel, the wisdom of this panel. Morgan, your favorite Berry Berry. And if that wasn't enough, the magic of this panel, the steamy, sultry handsomeness of this panel, are Bruce Elliott!
Thank you, he's crazy.
Hi guys. Guten Morgen. How are you? How's everybody doing today? Because I asked that because I saw some of you out late, very, very late last night. Everyone's awake. Everyone's here. Am I awake? Don't worry about me. I'll be awake come Monday. We've got some fabulous artists up here, and one thing that I know, having done this for a few minutes, is that we learn a little bit about them, but we don't get to ask, you know, all the questions that we want to get in. And you don't even know the questions that we want to get in here. They don't know what's going to happen. They don't realize that there are t-shirt cannons in the audience and a slime machine that's going to come out if they give us the wrong answer. But we're close to the showers. Thank you guys for being here. It's good to see you. So one thing that we always get asked is, we are always asked, how did you get started? How do I get into the business, etc.? It's one of the only professions in the world. It'd be like going to a concert. You go to see U2 and then you wait backstage and you're like, hey Bono, how do I do this? It's very interesting. It's very interesting. But one thing that I try to point out, and that I'm sure that they have pointed out, is that everyone has a different journey. Everyone gets into the business in a different way. So you have someone like our Bruce, who started many years ago, who started on stage, and then he did television and film, and then voiceover came along. But his way was different from Morgan's. I know how Morgan got started. Morgan and I have a connected past. We're like Kylo and Rey. We're not brother and sister, you think. But that won't be revealed until the final movie. But Morgan also started on stage and then moved on over to voiceover and things like that. But she also has a big YouTube presence. And that's a different way to get into the business. Now, my first question for you guys is, when you got into voiceover, did you see it as something that would take up the majority of your time? Was that the thing that you thought, okay, this is what I'm going to become associated with?
No.
Ever?
No, I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of people that are like, you know, I've always wanted to be a voice actor, it's my dream ever since I was a kid, and like, the thing is, I didn't even realize it was something I could do until I went to Haberkorn, and so that happened very suddenly, and I was like, oh, this is pretty neat, and then it just kind of took off, and I didn't expect that.
There was a Haberkorn. There were two of them. There's not a third because it's just a lot of work. But we're glad that we had Morgan there. Our Bruce, what did you think?
And I'm sorry I missed them earlier. No, also no. As Todd mentioned, I started out on stage. I did stage acting most of my life. I hope I'm not finished with it. And a little bit of TV, a little bit of movie stuff. But I had an agent in Dallas that sent me on this audition in 2003 for this show that wound up, we thought was called Detective Conan, wound up being called Case Closed. So I just went on an audition, not knowing what, if anything, would come from that. And I was delighted that it wound up being a really good gig, and I worked a lot, and amazingly enough, I kept working at Funimation. It's now 15 years later, I'm still working at Funimation. I'm still kind of amazed at that.
Basically, none of us have a plan.
Yeah.
Contrary to what you're told at school, make a 1-year, 5-year, 10-year, we don't do that. No, we do. It just kind of sneaks up on you. I know with voiceover, it's something that has become more prevalent now, but it's like, when I was a kid, I didn't think that was even a thing. I just thought that, you know, Lion-O showed up, did his scenes, and then went home with his blue armor bikini. And that was it. I didn't know that people got in the booth and voiced it. It's kind of much more prevalent now. Is there one type of role that you guys haven't done, which I would be surprised if there is, that you still want to do?
Yes, I want to do all of Chris Sabat's roles.
Sabat, watch out. Watch what you eat. It could be poisoned.
I don't know if that's a type, but
yeah.
I want to be Chris Sabat when I grow up.
What about you, Morgan?
I've thought about maybe playing a tsundere character. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Don't you guys think that'd be fun? Tsundere. Ooh.
How did you guys meet? Where did you meet each? I guess at Funimation.
We met yesterday.
Yes.
Oh, was that the first time?
We probably have passed in the halls of Funimation, but never had occasion to actually meet. So.
Okay.
We met here. Thank you.
Right on. This is the first place. This is ground zero for the meeting. There we go.
And who are you again?
I'm Todd Manana. Today I've decided to go with the black hair color. If you guys, let's see, what color are your toothbrushes?
What color? What?
What color are your toothbrushes?
Purple.
What color is yours?
Select, Rick. It's white with a light blue stripe down the side.
There we go. A Sonic hair.
Yes, that's on it.
Ah, yes. I know more
Really
about
good
Bruce than he
toothbrush.
knows about. See, sometimes, here's the thing. Here's why I know a lot about them. They have to go to sleep at some point. Their guards are down. That's when I learn all my information. What shows should we be watching right now? Like, when you guys aren't working, like, what shows are you watching at home?
Well, I mean, I'm watching My Hero Academia. Yes! And here's the thing, I was a fan of the show before I got cast in it, so I was like, oh my god, tears. So I'm watching that as it airs. So that's fun. You guys, if you haven't seen it, you totally should. It's amazing.
Bruce, do you have time to watch stuff? What are you watching? Nothing.
Are you talking anime?
Anything.
Oh, anything?
Yeah.
I watch Rachel Maddow Monday through Friday night.
What if they said, hey, our Bruce, she's lost her voice, she's gonna mouth the words, we need you to dub her live. That would be like a dream gig.
I'd jump on it, but I'd never be as good as Rachel.
Yeah, that's true. If you guys could sing one American Idol song for the big prize, what would it be?
Any song?
Any song. What's your go-to song?
Who You Are by Jessie J.
Do we know that song? We're gonna know it by the end of this day, right?
Oh no.
Okay. What about you?
It's a song I've been wanting to do at a karaoke bar sometime, and I've never found. I saw it once, and I didn't have a chance to stay long enough to sing it. It's a song by Stephen Sondheim.
Okay.
From the movie Dick Tracy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's Not Sooner or Later, which was the big, really like Oscar-nominated song. It's the other song he wrote for that, called More.
Are we going to see it? Yeah, cue it up? No, I'm kidding.
It's a really cool song.
I feel like
about a very greedy girl.
Named Chris Sabat.
She doesn't. Named Chris Sabat.
Okay. When we're not working in the booth and we have free time, it's a lot of times people are like, well, what shows are you watching? What anime are you watching? And you're watching My Hero, and you're watching Rachel do her thing. For me, I don't really get to do that. And like also when you're a surgeon and like you're cutting up bodies all day, you don't want to go home and cut up more bodies, right? Maybe you do. Do you like cutting up bodies? Good answer, because I'm wearing a body cam right now and this could be used against you. In my free time, I like to sleep because I don't get a lot of it. And so that's a lot of fun. The Sandman and I are working out a relationship. It's impressive. We're working on communication, eye contact, things like that. I got a lot of it last night and I'm very happy. For those of you that saw me at the autograph session, if you saw how red my eyes were. But we still did it, right? And we still did our 11 o'clock panel. How many people were there for that? That was fun. That was fun. We learned a lot about Catholicism. If they made a movie of your guys' life, who would you want to star in it? You can't say Chris Sabat. He's going to be in mine.
Can he go back a few decades?
Yeah.
Robert De Niro.
Oh, De Niro?
Robert De Niro, yeah. He's definitely one of my acting heroes.
Okay.
Okay, Ruby Rose.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, right?
She so is dead at the end of John Wick 2. There's no way she's still alive. It's not a spoiler. The movie's been out since February of last year.
Can we ask you that question? Who would star in the Todd Haberkorn story?
Well,
besides Todd Haberkorn.
Well, you know what? When Al Pacino was in his 20s, he had a mugshot taken. He was arrested and actually saved from doing a lot of dastardly things. He was in a car with some guns, and he was about to go do something that would change his life. But he got arrested beforehand, and there's a mugshot of him. If you look it up, you can see it online right now, the Al Pacino mugshot. People thought that was me. And I'm like, no, I'd never get arrested in the United States. But I would want him to do it. Ooh.
Good choice.
And so, okay, what about this? Speaking of choices, favorite cereal? Because breakfast is the most important part of the day in terms of meals, and I bet you there are at least 15 of you in here that did not eat breakfast. Raise your hands if you didn't eat breakfast. You SOBs! Would you treat a baby that way? If you had a baby, would you be like, we're gonna skip food till 6 p.m.? No! So why do you do it to yourselves?
Good point.
You're more important than a baby.
Oh.
Wait for it. All in one. Eat your breakfast. Love yourself.
And
3 times a day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That can't... This is a... Have we escaped real life? The time continuum has stopped? No. See, they're leaving right now to go eat breakfast. Good. Go get the chocolate-covered marshmallows. That's got milk and eggs in it. Bye. What's your favorite cereal?
I like Honey Bunches of Oats with the peaches. I don't know, I mean...
Ooh, with the peaches in it?
The peaches, like, they kind of explode in your mouth.
Oh,
it's just so good.
I didn't know they had that.
Yeah, it's good.
What about you?
I discovered after many years that what I really like to do for cereal, and I must admit I eat cereal more at night than I do for breakfast.
That's cool. People like a little strange on the side.
I'd like to mix like 2 or 3 different cereals.
Oh.
And I really like that,
Adventurous.
but I always start with multigrain Cheerios.
Oh, Bruce, you get a little crazy with the cereal. Okay.
You can tell how healthy I am.
See, we discovered some stuff under the hood that we didn't know about. For me, my favorite cereal? Ooh. My thing is I go through phases where I try to trick myself into getting like the healthiest cereal. I'm like, you know what, I need to be good to myself, but I always find myself lingering back towards, you know, like Reese's Puffs. Like there's any nutritional value in a cereal-fied version of Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. They're going to get some right now.
Yeah, careful, don't make people too hungry.
Don't you go get that cereal. Don't you go get that cereal. Hi, how are you guys? Good morning. So what time did you go to bed? What did you eat for breakfast? I knew it. I knew you didn't eat anything for breakfast. When are you planning to eat today? 1 a.m.? When was the last time you ate breakfast? It's not bad. What did you eat? Donut. It's replaced with vanilla filling and sass, if it's a New Yorker. And it smells like trash. Okay. So you ate a donut? Is that the only thing you ate that day? What kind? Oh, so you got some fruit in there. Good Lord. Yeah, that's straight in for yes, that's true. There were raisins. So, at what point are you gonna try another meal?
Probably in the next few hours.
Oh, cool. You know, just, man, whatever. Don't say this. Just take time to feed your body and get nutritious. Whatever. That sounds good. Is this a new year last year?
I can't go last year.
You know why? Because you were eating 3 meals a day. It's healthy for you. But last year, next time you eat a donut, it should be an apple fritter. You like apple fritter? You're off my S list, and you're back on the good list. So, why did we skip breakfast? Who else skipped breakfast? Why did you skip breakfast?
I was asleep.
Sleep snuck up on you. How old are you?
20?
So you've been sleeping daily for 20 years, but it snuck up on you and you didn't have time for breakfast.
Well, to be fair, I was out late last night at your panel, so.
That's nutrition for your brain. I'm talking nutrition for your body. What do you like to eat for breakfast? Apple fritters?
On the occasion, yeah. I usually have the weird stuff. I have like dinner for breakfast.
Oh yeah, it is weird. We find that breakfast for dinner is acceptable, but people don't do dinner for breakfast. What's the best dinner for breakfast option that we should be exploring?
Steak. Yeah, that steak, ham.
I thought you said stink. Capture the stink, put it in a balloon, and just eat it up. Okay, so you like steak.
Yeah.
So, whereas I would bring a pet cow and pet it, you would lick your lips and kill it.
No, that's my dad.
Oh, your dad really? So you're a scavenger. You belong in Destiny 2. There are scavengers and drifters. Do people play Destiny 2 in here? Right on. I'm the drifter. You should check it out if you haven't. You guys like first-person shooters? Yeah? I hear one of the characters is pretty cool. So steak for breakfast. What about lunch? Do you ignore lunch? You're like, I'll give you some love.
No, I do a lot of lunch.
Oh, good. Your body's awake. Ready to get some food. What time are you going to bed tonight?
I'd have to check the schedule and see what's up.
Body, what time are we going to bed tonight? Well, let's see. We've had steak, some cereal for dinner. We're ready for bed now. No. It's not. The sun's not almost up yet. Well, thank you for coming to the panel, and thank you for thinking about breakfast. I appreciate that. What do you guys like to do before you go to bed? What's your bedtime routine before you get ready to go visit the Sandman and exchange hugs and love?
I have a full-on facial routine. Like, I don't know, put on moisturizer and a bunch of stuff on my face. And then I just go to bed at night.
Okay. That makes me think of, because I come from an Asian family, and the one thing we did not have, we didn't ever open up a nail parlor, which is very typical in the Vietnamese community. So when you said you like to get a full facial, I pictured someone like, all right, Morgan, we come and give you facial now. Lie down. Okay, we're going to do your face. You go to bed, you wake up. Todd will be here. Every time I go into a nail parlor, like, oh, hi. Oh, you're so handsome. You want to get nail done? Every nail parlor in the world, I'm not kidding, in the world I've been to, it sounds like my grandma's talking to me. That's my grandma. Oh, Todd, how are you? Good to see you. That's my grandma. She's this sweet little old Asian lady that wakes up and does her, communist exercises every morning. She does. She wakes up, she goes, 1,000 times, and then she's ready to get up. My grandma is sweet, but then at the same time, she has this quail nest in one of her trees, and she went out to the tree, and I was like, oh, maybe she's leaving them some food. No, she's taking, you know, what is she doing, my Asian friend? What is she doing with the net?
Eating?
You're right, you know it! Are we related? He goes, yeah, eating. Yep, she takes the eggs, and does she put them in an incubator? In a way, she puts them in an incubator called her stomach! Bruce, what do you do before bed?
What? Huh? Oh yeah. Immediately before bed. For the couple hours before bed, I like to read and watch a little TV.
Yeah.
Immediately before bed, I brush, I floss, I wash my face.
How many dentists do we have in here that makes you happy? Any dentists? Our teeth are in for a horrible ride. So, you what do you read? Do you read as much as Tatum? Or would you say you rival how many books he reads? Or Colleen? They read all the time.
I'm sort of an omnivore. I used to read almost nothing but fiction, a lot of science fiction, grew up reading science fiction. In the last couple of years, since a particular election, I found myself reading lots of non-fiction.
I love it that you're reading books at night. Bruce, you're increasing your intelligence. It's fantastic.
Yeah. We don't want to get into this really deeply, but I'm kind of horrified with what's going on.
Oh, I love it. You're a big horror fan.
So...
Those are big movies, Walking Dead, The Purge. Fantastic.
What was the last book you read, Morgan?
Well, I read, but I mainly read fan fiction.
Oh my God! What fanfic writer should we be looking out for?
No, I won't say. No, I don't even. The thing is, I don't keep track of like the authors or anything. I just kind of read what's out there. Like, I don't know. It's just me.
Okay. All right. Bruce, what was the oddest thing you saw in anime when you first started? You're like, why do they do that? Or what is that? Why is there a big nosebleed happening? Like, what's the oddest thing you saw that you didn't wrap your head around until...
once I started doing anime? Well, actually, you mentioned one, the nosebleed.
The nosebleed, yeah.
Which is different in Japanese culture, because Conan, when little Conan, in his case clothes, is around Rachel.
Around Rachel Maddow, yeah.
Well, Rachel Moore, who was my character's daughter. I remember a still shot of the two of them in a bath, right together, both nude. You don't actually see anything, and little Conan has got a nosebleed. And I was wondering about that, and Chris Bevins explained to me that in the Japanese culture, at least if he was correct, that denotes some sort of sexual excitement.
Yeah.
So, which is different.
Bloodshed. Yes. Bloodshed is attractive.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
Morgan, what was the very first anime you ever saw?
Well, I mean, Pokemon. That's I grew up with that. But then when I got back into anime, Full Metal Alchemist was what I started with. Yeah, it's so good. But Brotherhood is my favorite, personal favorite.
Smart lady. Smart lady for sure. Now, in your first convention, what were both of your first convention to go to?
My first convention ever as a fan was Anime Fest 2013.
Okay.
And then I went to yours.
Oh, okay.
Same year, yeah.
Well, that's fun. That's fun. What about you, Bruce?
I went to a few little one-day library cons around Dallas. My first major con was Animazement.
North Carolina.
North Carolina. They were doing, the lady that ran that con was a big Case Closed fan, and she'd actually brought over the voice actor from Japan who did my character in Detective Conan in Japan, so I got to meet my counterpart.
Now, did you find out what his food allergies were, take him out of the game, and now you also do the Japanese version as well?
Yes.
Thank you for not dancing around that answer like Kavanaugh. Thank you for just getting right to it, and so we don't have to question you for very long. Go ahead and arrest him.
It's a secret, by the way. Nobody's supposed to know that, so please don't tell him.
Yeah, he's a multifaceted individual. So when you're not behind the mic, when you're not doing facials, when you're not mixing cereals, What's your perfect, like if you had a week to go on vacation somewhere and do whatever for that week, what's the dream spot? What's the dream thing to do? Because how many of you in here, while you guys are thinking, how many of you in here have never taken a vacation? Ever, ever, ever? How many people have taken vacations? That is awesome. That's rare, actually. That's a rare thing. Because we don't, typically in America, it's kind of, you're going on vacation, what? But I'm glad to see you all are healthy about that, except about the breakfast part. Where would you go?
I mean, it'd be cool to go to Japan. It'd be pretty sweet. Yes! But, I mean, that's, yeah, but most of the time I'm just at home watching Netflix, binging Voltron for the 5th time. Right? It's amazing!
Okay, what about you?
Well, about 18 months ago, I would have said Disney World, but since then I've been to Disney World twice. So now my next trip that I really want to go is a place I haven't been in too long, and that's Disneyland.
Yeah, Disneyland's awesome.
I'm a Disney kid. You can see my magic band. It doesn't work anymore, but I still wear it from my trip to Disney World. I'm a Disney kid from way, 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 way back.
You know what? Who was I talking to? A buddy of mine who directs audiobooks in LA, this guy, he's a sweet little old man, and he talks like this, his name's Jerry, and everything's wonderful! That's him. And he is in his 70s, and we're talking this guy, any celebrity that comes out with an autobiography, they go and record with him. We're talking like Dr. Phil, Julie Roberts, Nick Cannon, Bob Saget, all those guys. And so he doesn't know any of them. So when they meet him, instead of being like, oh my God, can I get an autograph? He thinks Nick Cannon's he goes, some YouTuber is late to this session. And I go, who is it? He goes, he's wearing a turban and his name's Nick Cannon. And I'm like, Jerry. But he was on a paper route in the 50s, and he saved up his money to buy a ticket to this place called Disneyland that was just opening. And he still has that ticket of when he went. But he won't talk about his age, but that's when I got him. For 8 years I've been trying to figure out how old this guy is, and he finally gave it away recently, and all it took was Disneyland. What's your favorite ride at Disney World? Do you have one favorite?
Favorite ride in Disney?
Yeah.
Oh, probably Soarin'.
Oh, Soarin's great.
Soarin' was pretty cool. I did get to ride the new Flights of Wonder at Pandora World of Avatar.
Is that cool?
That was pretty cool. However, it was a little bit spoiled by having to wait in line 3.5 hours.
Oh, yeah.
It is by far the most popular ride at Disney World.
Wow.
And I did like it. I'd ride it again, but if I didn't get a fast pass, I'd have to think real hard if I was going to wait another 3.5 hours in line. I got there when the park opened. I waited 3.5 hours.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah,
I love Soarin'. Soarin' is so cool.
I think they should do that thing like they do at Universal, where you can buy the front of the line pass. And like they have it. Do you guys know about this? So at Universal, you can buy a front of the line pass where you can go through every ride one time, just right to the front if you want to go. And they limit it. They have a certain number of them that they sell per day. And they should totally do that at Disney, because last time I checked, Disney's not allergic to money. So I think that'd be really good. Disneyland, you're gonna love. Oh, California Adventure.
I've been, and I went.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll admit to some degree how old I am. I was alive when Disneyland opened.
Yeah.
And I went with my family about 7 years afterwards, which was the longest 7 years of my life. Because we were all so ready to go. And I've been back a couple of times since, but I haven't been back in about 25 or 30 years, and I'm really dying to go back.
Well, I tell you what.
And I haven't seen California Adventure, which is right across.
Oh my gosh, that is so good. Yeah.
That's the only Disney park I haven't been to in North America.
You're gonna love it. Yeah. You're gonna love it. So you were there when they did like Peter Pan, the Pinocchio, the original part of the park.
Yep.
Yeah. They're closing down Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
They already did at Disney World.
No, it's not at Disneyland yet. It's still there. It's still there. Anyone in here been to Disneyland? Disney World. How many people prefer Disneyland to Disney World? None of you? 2 of you? I don't like you anymore. What about Universal Studios? Have you guys been to Universal Studios? What about the one in LA? It's kind of sad. Here's how you gotta look at it. Disney World, or Universal Studios in LA is not a theme park. It's a movie studio with some rides. That's how you have to look at it, right? Now you feel better? I guess that's how my grandma looks at the quail eggs. It's like, listen, I'm freeing up room in the mama's nest. I'm removing I should try that in court next time I'm arrested for murder. I'm freeing up the household. They're using less resources because the 3 kids aren't there anymore. I wonder if that'll work. Anyone have 2 brothers and sisters in here? Okay, what are you doing next week? We'll talk later. So are you guys, I think a lot of times when you're in the business, people sometimes forget that we're also fans of things, like you just mentioned Disney and Rachel, etc. Are there people that you have seen at conventions that you are fans of that we kind of forget that, oh yeah, we like things too, that you haven't met yet, or you have met, or you want to meet? Anyone like that? Senor Elliott?
Well, I don't know, I already met you, so that was...
And you, sir. And you. Morgan?
Well, I'm a huge Voltron fan, and I went to Fan Expo. Yeah! I went to Fan Expo and I met Josh Keaton, Kimberly Brooks, Jeremy Shada, and I was like, oh, this is nice. And they were cool, chill people. Oh, yeah, that was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, they're nice.
I'd like to meet Seth MacFarlane. I think he's amazing.
Yeah, he is. So smart. I want another Ted movie. Ted 3. It's pretty fun. Yeah, when you go to Universal Studios, do you drive past Ted's little area? It's pretty fun. He's a giant bear. That's the other thing with anime that I don't get is like the proportions. The eyes take up half the face. That's not, and also the head, like Happy's head in Fairy Tale, Happy's head, compared to the rest of the body, the head is 30 pounds sitting on a body this big. It's not feasible. And Happy is the strongest character in the guild because if you think about it, that cat, let's say the head doesn't weigh 30 pounds, it's really a 7-pound cat, is carrying multiple people that weigh at least 110 pounds apiece. So if you think 7 pounds is carrying 220 pounds at the minimum, that ratio is huge. Happy is OP. That's what we're going to discover in the final season that begins airing October 7th. Now, if you guys know that we have Makarov on stage, yes? Does anyone have any fairy tale questions?
Do you know that October 7th? Is that for real?
Yeah.
I know it's coming. I haven't started recording it. But
I hear that things might be happening.
It's coming.
Yeah,
it's coming.
You had a question for Makarov? You
No.
don't.
Why not?
Well, who's your question for? Oh, what's your question?
What was the hardest thing that you had to face while voicing Natsu?
The hardest thing I had to face while voicing Natsu was making sure that my voice lasted till the end of the session. It's been a minute since I've voiced Natsu. We haven't visited the show in probably 2 years?
3 years, maybe.
3 years, oh my God. And so when everyone, it's funny because people will come up and say like, oh, you sound just like Natsu. Yes, but it's in a different place. So when I'm normally talking, it's here, I can do this for a while. But when it's time to get down to Natsu, it's a little bit different. And this voice multiplied by 8 hours, it definitely puts a fire in my throat. So it's I've got to get ready to do that again because I did a message for a fan and it hurt a little bit. And I was like, gotta warm these bad boys up some. So I'm excited, and I'm excited to hear Makarov do his thing. What's your favorite fairy tale ability? So a favorite attack, a favorite power. Oh, see, I already know, judging from how you're dressed, your favorite attack is something Blue does. What's your favorite?
Heaven's Wheel Armor by Chris.
Heaven's real tomorrow. That's awesome. Now, can you tell me why you haven't gone to Japan and gotten us some fairy tale video games?
Because I don't have enough money to go to Japan. Are you kidding me?
Well, I don't need you to produce the video games. I just need you to find the people who do them, threaten them, and make them give us fairy tale video games.
Well, maybe.
When did you get your fairy tale tattoo?
Today.
You got this one? Let me check it out. Nice. It's blue. That's okay. Gray can suck and people can still have us tattooed. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. Let's see. Hello. Hi, good morning. What's your name? Oh, I hope that you have a lovely question for some of our beautiful voice actors on stage. Do you have something dying that you would like to ask them, something that you need to know from Morgan or Bruce, because they've done a lot of stuff. I'm telling you, when you look online, you have to scroll at least 15 to 16 times to get through everything that they've done. They've forgotten certain voices that they've done. That's how many they've done.
That part's true.
Maybe not.
Oh, you didn't eat breakfast, did you? Oh, what did you eat for breakfast? You had French toast? Now, did you go to the restaurant in the lobby? Or did you make your own? You smuggled in your own French toast?
Microwave.
Do you know that they have s'mores French toast available? You should try it someday. Not tell you about the s'mores French toast.
That's one thing, s'mores French toast.
Yes, s'mores French toast. Who's had it already?
Which restaurant?
Wait.
It's the one right across from the registration, that little, like, facing the registration, that restaurant, behind the concierge.
Ivory Coast?
Ivory Coast?
I need that.
Yeah, it's delightful.
Okay.
Hello. Hi, what's your name?
Todd?
Now, why is your wristband orange? What is it? Oh, it's 21?
Yes.
Oh, you're 26? Now, you know who we have up here on stage.
Actually no, but I can ask a question, sure.
Oh, well this is perfect. If you don't know them, you have things you need to ask them. What's something that you, when you look at them, this question pops up into your head, besides, why are they so cool? You can't ask them.
I agree, yeah. So I guess a good question I would ask is, what are some panels that you guys attended, like in the audience, that you really enjoy at other conventions? Besides ones with Todd Haberkorn, of course.
You just earned some s'mores French toast.
I personally like going to all the Voltron panels. Those are fun. And also voice acting panels, because, you know, never stop learning. Never stop learning, so, yeah.
Last weekend I was at Metacon in Minneapolis, and I went to a couple of wonderful panels, one by John Swayze, who's a wonderful voice actor from Houston, and his was the Con Stories from Hell. That was really cool. And Greg Ayers, who's an old friend, does also an 18+ panel where he just talks about all sorts of things.
You learn a lot about human anatomy there.
Oh my goodness.
When you leave, you get an honorary MD. Okay. Hi.
Hello.
So, you're an old school anime fan, I guess.
I am.
What's your favorite old school anime?
That's tough. I would have to say Sailor Moon.
Yeah, Sailor Moon counts. That's awesome. Who's your favorite villain in Sailor Moon?
Either Queen Beryl or Queen Nihilinia.
Cool, Jadeite, awesome. when you saw Sailor Moon, do you have a favorite episode?
No. I'm
Kind of all mediocre. I mean, really. Understood. What do you think the process when our Bruce or Morgan step into the booth? Like, what do you think happens? Do you know what do you picture in your brain goes down to get from voice to a finished episode?
I have no idea. Like.
So what happens, guys? Talk to us about from the time you walk in. You've got an audition at noon. What happens when you walk in the door? Is it they throw the script into a pit, you jump in and fight to the death, or what happens? Let us know.
Did you say audition?
Yeah, from audition, you get an audition, Tara calls you up, says, hey, we need you in here at noon to audition for this show called Fairy Tale. What happens?
Well, you go into the door and there's audition sides on the front desk.
Sides are what exactly?
Basically just the descriptions of the characters and the lines that they chose for you to audition with. Yeah.
Okay, they're in a binder. You see a couple of images of the show. You see maybe the face of the character, which is more than we see sometimes in video games.
Yeah.
And then what happens, Bruce? You take that binder and you leave with it. Where do you go?
Well, we should say that we don't do auditions very much at Funimation anymore. They have to cast so quickly with simuldubs.
That's true.
But when they do auditions, which is, like I say, not very often. In fact, I haven't had an audition in several years. I kind of miss them. But when we did it, yes, you would take the book, you would look through and see what characters you might possibly be interested or feel that you could play, and they would generally let you do 2 or 3 if there were that many characters in there. My being one of the older boys and girls in this business, there were usually not a whole lot of characters for me to choose from. If I was lucky, there might be 2 or 3, and I'd take a look at those lines, and I might step outside for a few minutes and kind of hear them in my head and say them out loud a little bit.
Just make some choices and do your best.
Make some choices, and then
when you go into the booth, in the room, there's an engineer commanding Pro Tools, etc. Then there's the director there who knows the show, who's seen the show. And then when they step into the booth, there are a couple of monitors. One has the script on it, that's connected to the director's computer so they can make changes in real time. One has the visuals, the episode on it. And so when you're in there, you're looking at the lines you're going to say, you're watching it in Japanese first, and then you give it a pass. Sometimes they don't do this version of auditioning very much anymore. When I directed there, we did that because I feel like you can't get a sense of the character. Like when we auditioned for Fairy Tale, you can't get a real sense of the character by one shot of Natsu. How does he move? What's he sound like? I need more of a guide. But that's typically how it was done. So when I directed, I would take clips of the characters and cut them, edit them into little clips so people could see them move, breathe, etc., and then people come in and audition. And so, but that's a lot of auditioning, is when we work on video games, like when I was working on Destiny 2, it's a spreadsheet. I don't see any visuals, I don't see what the character looks like, I don't hear any soundscape, I don't see anything. It's very reliant on the director going like, okay, this is the world, this is the feel, give us a few flavors of these lines, and then they put it all together, and then you get the full game. But it's a very kind of like, it's interesting because with anime stuff, we actually get to see what's done, and it's kind of, the groundwork's already kind of laid down. Whereas with video games, it takes a different kind of imagination. So with the script in anime, you see the line that you're going to say for about 3 seconds, and then you do that line. Whereas on stage, we get the script for 6 weeks while we're rehearsing. So it's kind of a different beast. Do you guys have a preference in terms of what fills your acting need more? The VO or stage?
Really both for me, I'm happy to say.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I believe so. I had decades as a stage actor, and I've always felt in my heart, in my soul, that that's what I was. I was an actor.
Yeah.
And when I started doing anime, especially when I started doing more and more different kinds of shows and different kinds of characters, I found it still extremely satisfying. It still fed my soul in a different kind of way. you know, you go in, you do it in an hour or 2 hours, you're done, and go home. And that's
a couple nosebleeds.
That's a very different kind, couple of nosebleeds.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of satisfaction, but it is still very satisfying.
Yeah. Morgan?
Same. With on stage, there is an advantage though. Like you get to spend more time preparing for the role, I guess. Whereas with anime, there are a lot of the times I'll get in the booth and not even knowing what I'm recording for until I'm in there, and you know, and then I just do it. But either way, it's very satisfying though as an actor. So.
Yeah.
You do get applause on stage.
Yeah, that's true.
And to get applause in doing anime, we have to come to anime cons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, there we go. Thank you.
You have to travel.
You picked up your cue there. Thank you very much.
12 hours overnight, braving the LAX traffic, going through TSA with a body cavity search. And then in a very awkward moment in the last 30 seconds of that search, they go, "Hey, were you Italy and Italia?" And I replied, "Yes." Put your clothes back on, you get on the plane, now you've got that TSA guard's number and you start exchanging info. It gets a little weird. You're on the plane, you land in the Poconos via parachuting. You hope you're not off, you hope your latitude and longitude codes were right. You land on a small building that becomes larger as you increase your speed at 9.8 meters per second squared, making your way to that building. You've triangulated where your hotel room is. You crash through the ceiling. You say, "Charge it to the room." Then you wake up and you're at a panel with our Bruce Elliott and Morgan Barry. And it's Saturday. That's what it means to travel to a con. But I still had breakfast. If there is a fire in your home and you have to take one thing with you, what do you bring with you before it all burns down and you have
My cell phone. I need it.
Do you have animals?
No, I don't.
Not anymore, because they've burned in the fire. Our Bruce, what's the one thing you bring with you?
My family's lived in the same house for 60 years. I don't know. I probably would just sit there and burn up with all the rest of it. I wouldn't be able to decide.
That's nails.
Too many memories.
Burning up, silently standing there, taking it. Like even the flames like, "I'm coming for you, our Bruce. I'm coming. You better get out." And he's like, "No." And then
now I'm going to worry about that for the whole rest of the
Well, no, don't worry about it. It could be fire, it could be flooding, it could be a hurricane. You don't know. It could be any of those things. Anyway. What about you? If you could take one thing from your home before it burned up, well, you know what? I saw your hand. I think you're planning a little bit of a fire later. Dad, get ready to call insurance. What's the one thing you would take?
My dog.
Your dog. So if your mom and dad are sleeping, you're like, "Come on, pup." What's your dog's name?
Cole.
Cole. So you're gonna go out, let your parents burn to a crisp. You're gonna start a Fallout type lifestyle where you are acquiring weapons and working with dealers to get HP and maybe sometimes mana and a future DLC. And you're gonna be a cross-platform traveler. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Good luck to you and Cole. What kind of dog is Cole?
Jack Russell.
Oh, Jack, so he's super smart. Has he ever looked at you and it was silent in the room, it was just you guys at home, and he goes, "They'll never believe you." And then he never talked again? Oh, well, how old are you?
13.
Oh, it typically happens around 14. Well, I'm sorry, Dad, that your son has made the decision and about what to take. Sleep with one eye open, I guess. Anyone else? What's one thing you're going to bring with you? Melissa? Okay, there we go. What's the one thing that you are going to bring with you when your house is burning down and you're slightly injured and other people in your home have things that have fallen on them and you don't have time to save them?
All my manga, specifically the Full Metal Alchemist set.
Oh, but you can only take one thing. What do you take?
A set is one thing.
That's true, if it was acquired in a whole set.
A set, right? In a box.
It's a limited edition, but I got the set with, like,
Okay, yeah, we'll take that. We'll take that.
you can, like, order it.
Okay, do you have any animals?
Yes.
Sorry for them. Okay. All right. I mean, makes sense. What's one thing that you're going to take with you when your house is crashing down? Now, who do you live with?
This is when I was living with my mother when I was a teenager. The house was burning down because I was making pizza in the middle of the night and set the fire alarm off. She left her boyfriend in her room, ran past my room, went right to my little brother's room, ignored all of us. She stayed up there for a few minutes. I'm like, where's she going? Because I heard her run. She came down acting like she just woke up. I was like, I'm making a pizza, and I heard you run past all the rooms and stop at Brandon's room, and you would have let me die in a fire.
Or maybe it was because your choice of pizza. What kind of pizza was it?
It was a regular cheese pizza.
That's the problem. It didn't have enough toppings. Guys, I want to thank you. It's been a wondrous exploration of the people that you would let die in your fires. Let's give it up for R. Bruce and Morgan Berry. Alrighty, have a great Saturday. Peace be with you and also with you.
Todd Haberkorn!
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much.